So today we're going to talk about some of these purity tests that some people on the left and some progressives have, like the Young Turks that I'm going to be talking about today. And I'm going to talk to you about whether or not these purity tests will actually win anybody any elections. My name is Sham Sharma. Welcome to the Sham Sharma Show. Hello, and welcome to another edition of the Sham Sharma Show. Thank you very much for joining me today. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate you. So this whole idea of purity test that I wanted to talk to you about sort of came to me from a video that I watched on the Young Turks when Tulsi Gabbard dropped out of the presidential race and endorsed Joe Biden for president. And once that happened, all of these progressive platforms that have always hated Tulsi but have kept up this pretense of politeness towards her just because she was a Bernie supporter. So now all of those pretenses are gone and the claws have really come out. See, the thing is that a lot of Bernie supporters really hated Tulsi. The fact that she was willing to work with both sides of the aisle, the fact that she was willing to work with both Democrats and Republicans, the fact that she was able to garner actual bipartisan support from both sides of the aisle, the fact that she is proud of her Hindu identity.
Okay, kill him!
You know, something that's borderline illegal in leftist progressive circles. And so the Young Turks are leading this charge against Tulsi Gabbard now, and Ana Kasparian of the Young Turks made a video about how she was taking a victory lap after Tulsi went and supported Joe Biden. So look, first of all, it's very important for us to remember where the Young Turks are actually coming from. You know, they were huge on Bernie. They put so much time and effort behind Bernie and getting Bernie to win. And it looked like Bernie was going to win. And then suddenly Biden comes out of nowhere on Super Tuesday and almost blows Bernie out of the water. And they clearly did not take the Biden comeback very well.
A week ago, I would have told you, I did tell you, Super Tuesday, I think we got this. Remember, we were talking about Whisper of a Dream. I think it might be over on Super Tuesday. So I'm not saying this on behalf of TYT or anything like that. We thought it was almost over. Bernie was going to win. And now we got absolute dig-in warfare against the establishment. But we didn't start the war. They'll lie about it again. We didn't start the war. They started the war. They've been lying about Bernie Sanders. For God's sake, on Castro, I could give you 1,000 examples. Bernie Sanders said the same exact thing as Obama. Everyone on TV is lying like, oh my God, what an outrageous thing with Bernie Sanders. And so you want to go to war, we'll go to war. And that is what this is. We cannot let Biden win, guys. And Biden lies nonstop. He's going to get caught.
So I get it. I get where they're coming from. They're hurting. They're in pain. Jokes aside, I also honestly get why many progressives have problems with establishment Democrats. Like, many establishment Democrats are in bed with Wall Street. Many establishment Democrats are in bed with the military-industrial complex. Many establishment Democrats are opposed to giving medical coverage for everybody. So I get it. There are genuine concerns that progressives have that I actually agree with them on in terms of their problems with the establishment Democrats. But the kind of blind hatred and the kind of propaganda they spread about people that they don't like, it makes it really hard for people to get behind them in any significant way. See, the thing is, I made a video last week, and you can check it out over here, where I talked about why Tulsi made the decision to support Joe Biden instead of Bernie Sanders, because Bernie Sanders' campaign has treated Tulsi like crap. They've ignored her for most of this campaign. Many prominent Bernie supporters have actually gone and attacked Tulsi Gabbard. Even Bernie Sanders' national co-chair Ro Khanna was trying to smear Tulsi Gabbard. So she's been treated very unfairly by the Bernie Sanders campaign. So even though I can understand that people might disagree with her decision to endorse Biden, you can see why she didn't endorse Bernie. But then look at the way the Young Turks talk about her and discuss her policies.
She sits there during an interview and questions the validity of a, Senate report on the brutality of that torture and didn't give a straight answer about how disgusting and criminal that torture really was.
Okay, so this whole thing that Anna's talking about Tulsi Gabbard's views on torture, it actually stems from a 2014 interview where Tulsi Gabbard said that she was conflicted about the report published that week on the CIA's use of torture in interrogations. She said the jury is still out on the report. She also said that while she abhorred torture, if there was an imminent danger to American citizens, as president, she would do everything in her power to keep the American people safe. And also, her views evolved on this matter after a few years, once she had more time to process this information, because in February 2019, she said, "Through my time on the Armed Services Committee in Congress over the last 5 years, I've supported amendments to the defense bill that ban torture, ban these enhanced interrogation techniques, and as president will continue to strongly oppose torture and the use of those techniques. So it clearly sounds like her opinions have evolved. It clearly sounds like the more time she has taken to process the information that came out in 2014, she has been able to change and evolve her opinion. Isn't that how opinions work? You change and you evolve your opinions based on new information that's made available to you. According to the Young Turks, that's not how it should work. When you are 5 years old, you're supposed to form all of your opinions, and you have to stick by those opinions when you are 5 years old, no matter how much you mature and no matter how much new information is made available to you.
And every time I would question her so-called progressive label, people thought, oh, she's being catty. Anna's what am I jealous of? There's nothing to be jealous of, right? I'm doing my job, and people just completely dismissed it, trashed me.
Really? Your job? As part of her job on reporting on Tulsi Gabbard, she has routinely published false information and completely biased reports simply meant to tarnish or ruin Tulsi Gabbard's reputation. I made a response to one of the videos that Anna made last year where she was trying to paint the entire country of India and the entire Hindu community in a horrible light just to be able to ruin Tulsi Gabbard's reputation. You can check out that video over here.
As a hard-right Hindu nationalist from the BJP, he has been accused of being complicit in the riots as well as condoning the violence.
So she tried to say that Modi was complicit in the Gujarat riots when he clearly wasn't, when the Supreme Court of India and various special investigative teams exonerated Modi of any complicity. She didn't bother to mention any of that in that video. She also tried to blame the people that were murdered by the Muslim mobs as being responsible for their own deaths.
Now, Hindu nationalists like Modi placed the blame on that train fire squarely on the Muslim community. But as the New York Times reported, an Indian government investigation found that the fire was actually an accident and not caused by Muslims.
In 2011, a special investigative tribunal had convicted 31 persons related to the case of conspiracy to burn down the train. A special court had again in 2018 sentenced two more accused, Farooq Bhana and Imran, alias Sheru Batuk, to life imprisonment in relation to the case of burning the Sabarmati Express train in 2002. A special investigative court in Ahmedabad convicted Yaqub Patalia in 2018 and sentenced him to life imprisonment as well, with relation to the 2002 Godhra train burning case. It is also reported that on the eve of the incident, Farooq Bhana had held a meeting at the Aman guest house to incite people to burn down S6 coach of the Sabarmati Express. So this was clearly a pre-planned terror attack. This was not a tragic train fire. So when you talk about you doing your job, is your job to spread false and widely debunked reports? Is your job to spread a widely debunked conspiracy theory that blames Hindus for their own murders? Is your job to spread false information to ruin someone's reputation? Because if that's your job, then congratulations, you're doing a fantastic job of it. And again, like I've said before, I understand that people can be upset that she endorsed Joe Biden instead of not endorsing anyone. But her partner in the video, the person that she made this video with, John even says in the video that Tulsi had promised long ago that she would support whoever the eventual Democratic nominee is.
I definitely didn't predict that she would endorse Biden. I definitely didn't predict that she would endorse Biden while Bernie was still in the race. But I mean, she has been very consistent that she would eventually endorse a different Democrat if she wasn't the person. That's why I wasn't that shocked by that.
I can't believe you've done this.
I don't know what Tulsi Gabbard's political ideology is. She's all over the place, right?
And this is another weird thing in politics that I've noticed over the past few years, that if you are not 100% in agreement with me, then you're my enemy. Then we can't be friends. Because Tulsi might have some positions that are not 100% considered progressive ideas. For example, she has often said that she is a hawk on national security, and she might agree with some Republicans on that issue. So just because she has one or two issues that she might actually agree with the Republicans on, that makes her an enemy of the progressives. That makes her not a true progressive. So is this how politics works? Can you only make alliances alliances with people that you agree 100% on everything. Because if that's the case, then good luck winning elections, because that is not how the vast majority of people are. Hey man, you like the same music that I do. You like the same kind of sports that I do. You like the same kind of food that I do. You and I have a very similar sense of humor. I think we could be friends. That's true. And even though you support one team and I support another team, and we might disagree on that, but we still love the sport, so we can still be... No, I'm sorry. We can't be friends. You're lucky I didn't stab you in the neck just then. Get out of my sight. Take me, for example. There are many positions that I agree with the liberals on when it comes to abortion, when it comes to the separation between church and state, when it comes to defending vulnerable minorities, when it comes to ending the failed war on drugs. I support the liberals. That I agree with the Republicans on as well. For example, smaller government. For example, lower taxes. For example, the Second Amendment. And see, that is how most people are. That's not your ideology being all over the place. That's just being a human being. But this is what the political world has become now, at least for these progressives. It's become a world of purity tests. If you are not 100% pure, then you're evil. Seriously, if the progressives want to build a winning coalition, then they need to let go of these weird purity tests. There's now an article out there in Politico that people should really go read. I'll leave it in the description down below, that even somebody like AOC, the most sort of combative member of the squad, who's now changing her strategy and is now someone who is more willing to work with the establishment Democrats because she understands how important it is to build coalitions. Even AOC realized that after she supported a bunch of these super progressive candidates who lost, even she realized that she needs to build better coalitions if she wants her message to get across to the regular American. So even AOC, not the sharpest tool in the shed, even she figured it out. When the hell will the Young Turks and Ana Kasparian figure it out? So again, are you only a true progressive if you agree with 100% of all the ideas, or can you be a progressive if you agree with 60%, 70%, 80%, or 90% of the ideas? How pure do you need to be? And is this purity test going to win you any elections? And I want to ask you as well, do you think that this whole idea of purity that people like the Young Turks and Ana Kasparian are forwarding, and the way they're talking about Tulsi Gabbard, do you think that these kinds of purity tests are what's needed for a stronger progressive movement? Do you think these kind of tests are what's going to win them elections? Yes or no? Let me know your thoughts and comments in the comment section down below. Once again, guys, if you liked today's episode, make sure to leave a like, leave a thumbs up, share, comment, interact with the show as much as you can. It really helps the show out. It really helps this channel out. And if you like the Sham Sharma show, and you'd like to support the Sham Sharma show, click on the Patreon link in the description down below. Become a patron of the show. You get the brand new mugs that will be shipping out to you as well. And you will get access to the WhatsApp and Discord servers of the Sham Sharma show as well.